Hi, my name is Garth Merrill, and I am the project manager for the RapidRide Roosevelt project, which is also referred to as the RapidRide J Line. Today I'm going to give you a few updates regarding the project and our Supplemental Environmental Assessment. First, I'd like to start with a little bit of the project background. Recognize that more people and more jobs are moving to Belltown, South Lake Union, East Lake, and the University District. Existing bus service cannot support this growth. During peak hours, 30% of the trips are running late and 63% of the trips are overcrowded. Improving transit allows more people to travel to and within these neighborhoods. Between 2012 and 2017, there were 39 reported collisions involving people riding bicycles along East Lake Avenue, most of which resulted in injury. Transportation is a leading contributor to greenhouse gas emissions in Seattle. Growing transit ridership and reducing driving alone are critical to meeting Seattle's climate change goals. RapidRide J Line will complement Link Light Rail to provide frequent and reliable transit options between the UDistrict, East Lake, South Lake Union, and Belltown neighborhoods. With RapidRide service, buses come so often you don't need a schedule. Upgraded stations, signals, and street improvements allow you to move more and stop less. These are some of the key features of King County Metro RapidRide's program. Early planning for what is now the RapidRide J Line project started back in 2014. We've been progressing through planning with getting community input and feedback, initiated design, and are going through an environmental process before we can finalize the design. Our current target is to start construction in 2023 and opening the service in 2026. As I noted, a lot of the planning for this project started all the way back into 2014, as it was identified as part of the Transit Master Plan, and we're also developing and implementing portions of the Bike Master Plan. Funding for the project was identified through the voter-approved Levy to Move Seattle. And with that, we were able to identify a locally preferred alternative for what we had identified as the RapidRide Roosevelt project, with the northern terminus of the project at the Roosevelt Link Station. Through community efforts, we also went through evaluations of bicycle routes and determined that the protected bike lanes on East Lake were the best option for meeting the evaluation criteria. We also identified that full paving on East Lake was desired and included in part of the project, as part of the project. With that effort, we have published an environmental assessment that had been submitted to the Federal Transit Administration and went out for public comment back in January 2020. However, since then, economic impacts due to COVID-19 required us to shorten the project with the new northern terminus at the UDistrict Link Light Rail Station. For this RapidRide J Line project, we've been working with the Federal Transit Administration to secure grant funding. And as part of that, we have to follow the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. And one of the things that's been required for this project as part of that process is to do an environmental assessment. And that's to analyze some of the technical details and propose improvements to determine what impacts there may be to the environment and the community before we can start final design. This includes evaluating proposed mitigation strategies to minimize those impacts. And with a determination, it will allow us to apply for federal funding like the Small Starts Grant. As I noted, we prepared a RapidRide Roosevelt environmental assessment and published that back in January in 2020, which provided a comprehensive analysis from downtown Seattle to the Roosevelt Link Station up at Northeast 67th Street. However, due to the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and the anticipated loss of capital and operating funds, we have now developed a UDistrict option, which shortens the alignment and terminates around Northeast 45th Street at the Sound Transit UDistrict station. Therefore, we've prepared a supplemental environmental assessment that compares this UDistrict option to the no-build alternative, similar to how the January 2020 environmental assessment compared the full alignment to a no-build condition. The UDistrict option only makes revisions north of the University Bridge to what was in the original January 2020 environmental assessment. North of the University Bridge, the alignment will continue up 11th Avenue and Roosevelt Way. However, at Northeast 43rd Street, it will connect over to the east and connect to the UDistrict Link station that's opening in October of 2021. Stops will also be closer to the UW campus. The shortened alignment still meets the project purpose and needs by providing connectivity to the neighborhoods as well as connections to the link stations. And it's consistent with community expectations and maintaining eligibility for grant funding. Most of the revisions that are necessary to support this UDistrict option are along Northeast 43rd Street. Between Roosevelt and 12th Avenue, we will be doing full depth repavement. We will be improving the protected bike lanes, and there will be installation of trolley wire to support the J Line route. However, this is taking advantage of several of the improvements that are already being constructed or completed that are around the UDistrict station. We will also be installing a new signal at Roosevelt Way and Northeast 43rd Street to support the new bus movements. The RapidRide J Line with the UDistrict option will be upgrading the Route 70. And one of the frequent questions asked is how does that compare to the existing Route 70? This helps to show in blue the current Route 70, which runs along Campus Parkway and 15th Avenue, which are very congested, lots of pedestrian crossings and lots of traffic signals. In addition, it requires the buses to make several left turn movements. The RapidRide J Line, utilizing 11th and Roosevelt and then Northeast 43rd Street, minimizes how many turns it needs to make, and so it's providing more direct access. And this saves 2 to 4 minutes of travel time just on the segment north of the University Bridge. Overall, with the RapidRide J Line UDistrict option, we're looking at increasing ridership by nearly double. As I noted, the environmental assessment that we published back in January 2020 covered the full alignment all the way up to the Roosevelt station. The supplemental environmental assessment focuses only on those revisions based on the UDistrict option, essentially north of the University Bridge. Comparing the impacts, we found that there were no additional impacts beyond those that were published in the January 2020 EA for several of the elements that we studied. For strategies to mitigate the construction impacts and the other project impacts, you can reference the original January 2020 EA. The supplemental environmental assessment identified that the UDistrict option would result in beneficial cumulative impacts, including better transit connectivity and reliability, pedestrian, bicycle, air quality, and stormwater improvements. Looking at parking, we don't anticipate long-term indirect impacts from changes to on-street parking. Where feasible, we'll be relocating one load zone and one shuttle zone that were on Northeast 43rd Street, in addition to removal of 8 to 11 on-street parking spaces. It should be noted that around the UDistrict Link light rail station, there are several revisions to parking that are already in the works associated with the link station opening. We also identified that general purpose traffic would be similar to the no-build conditions. And with the UDistrict option, there'd be improved transit with more frequent service, travel time savings, and improved reliability. The full Supplemental Environmental Assessment is available on our project website. There you can also find a form for submitting your comments. You also have the option to mail in your comments. We will also provide copies of the Supplemental EA at local library branches, or you can request a free electronic copy or send us an email to request a hard copy. The email address is rapidride@seattle.gov. Our next steps for the project will be to receive an environmental determination from the FTA. This will be based on comments received both from the original January 2020 EA plus the supplemental EA. If the FTA determines that there are no significant issues identified, they will issue a finding of no significant impact. We will then proceed with procuring grant funding for the project, including through the FTA's Small Start grant process, along with federal and state and local grants that we are seeking for the project. With environmental determination, that will also allow us to start our final design. As you can see within the materials we provided, we have made significant progress in the preliminary work for the design, but there are several elements that will be included in the final design, including looking at access strategies and some of the detailed station locations and refining some of the station amenities. Also, it will include construction staging, phasing, and will be focused on how to minimize impacts during construction. If you have any questions or ideas for the project, we encourage you to email us at rapidride@seattle.gov. We appreciate your interest in the project and look forward to hearing from you, especially as we advance towards final design and towards construction of this project. Thank you.